I will say, shout out to TikTok, because Chosen went viral.
Yes.
That changed my life in one aspect as well. But I don't know what it is. I'm not even that heavy on TikTok, like me personally, but I love it.
The Filipino audience on TikTok really rocks with you.
Shout out to all my Filipinos, man. I don't know what it is, but they definitely, I feel like the president of the Philippines right now.
Thank y'all for being here. We got Blxst chilling with us. Blxst, what's been going on, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just been laying low, cooking up in the studio.
Yeah.
It's a creative year for me.
I love to hear, bro, because you've been on the road. You've been traveling. You've been, getting out there, seeing your fans, all that stuff. So now you're like, I need to kind of get back into like maybe album mode or creation mode.
Yeah, I'm working on a couple projects. Definitely an album on the way. I've been on tour all last year, so I'm tired, man.
What's that day-to-day like? Because we not on the road like that, so we don't necessarily know. But like, what's that tour life do for an artist?
It's a lot that goes into it. It really made me respect the art of performing first and foremost. So it's about training your vocals, making sure you get the proper rest. But it's a fast-paced lifestyle, man. You got to get up and go, get up and go. You got interviews in certain cities because it's a lot of places that don't know who Blxst is, so I'm still, representing my name everywhere I go.
Yeah, growing, So take us back to like the beginning, like when you were just getting into, creating, being a producer. I think you got your first laptop from like a pawn shop or something like that. Right, you see like your cousin was making music and it inspired you in a way. Take us into kind of that story and what was happening.
Man, I think, as a kid, I just had a sense of fearlessness, So once my cousins showed me that they made a song, it was like, yo, I gotta try this too. You feel me? I was outside skating, we was partying, being bad, out past curfew. So I'm like, let me try music. And then the moment I recorded and I heard my voice back, I just felt powerful, you feel me? So, and I come from a background of being shy, not being so vocal. I felt like my opinion didn't matter as a kid.
What was the family dynamic? Did you have siblings and things like that?
Yeah, so I'm the youngest of three. I had 3 older sisters in the household. So yeah, just following them. I just, I always had people to back me up, so I felt like I didn't really have to stand up for myself in certain incidents. But when I recorded, it felt like I had a voice, I just felt powerful, and I just ran with it ever since.
Now, what came first, the production or you as an artist, or would you say they were kind of a tandem?
Yeah, I would say it was simultaneous. Like, when I first started, I used to look up to people like Ryan Leslie and Pharrell, just watching YouTube videos of them in the studio. Like, they'd jump from the keyboard and jump straight in the booth. Yeah. So my first sense of what an artist was like being all around.
Yeah, you like, I do it all myself.
Yeah, so that's how I approached it.
Wake Up, that's a LA summer anthem, I would say.
Wake it up.
Hey, wake it up, right? So tell us about that, right? That's a summer smash, right? That's summertime, that's barbecue. Where were you at as this was coming up?
Man, I was in Inglewood in a 2-bedroom apartment, trying to make a name for myself. Just producing for different artists in the city, like Kalen Pharrell. I had a record with Hitter J3, he from Compton. Yeah. It's a record called Do Your Gutter, and Kendrick had jumped on a remix. So I was getting my name out there as a producer, just grinding it out. But me and Bino had built a good chemistry, and I just, we just kept it going.
Yeah. What's your relationship with Bino? How's that chemistry work?
Man, that's my dog. I really owe a lot to him as far as like putting the spotlight on me as an artist, because a lot of people didn't know I was an artist too. Yeah. But he kind of opened that door for people to see me as an artist, because even though I was putting out music on my own, it wasn't up until like the 6th tape where people really gravitated to the sound, and everybody from LA really started incorporating the swing that I was putting out. Yeah.
How did it feel when you started, like, while you were like, folks didn't know, but they obviously influenced by your sound, right? Like, how does that make you feel as an artist?
It feels good, whole set of line. It was like people trying to put out the Blueprint 3 before I put it out. And, they say imitation is a form of flattery. Yeah. But it definitely made me feel like I was making a difference in the city. I was making people dance again, making people feel good. It's like that music you can chill with your family and just have a good time to it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of that.
Did you ever feel a type of way of folks trying to jump on that sound and you feeling like you wanted to, should have been like capitalizing on it the most?
Yeah, when I look back, I definitely feel like I could have capitalized on it more, but you know, you can't duplicate the sound anyway. You know, a lot of people try to take the sauce, but it's only one on one.
Yeah. So 6 tape, it drops in 2019, and then you drop number 2 in 2021. What was the difference you felt like between the two projects? What was the growth, you know, and the time between you two?
Between part 1 and part 2?
Yeah.
I would say the biggest difference, because even with 6 tape, 1, that was kind of during a pandemic, you know. So the biggest difference with part 2 was we was in the studio together. Part 1, we was just sending records back and forth.
Yeah.
Part 2, we was in the studio together.
That's a whole different vibe.
Yeah, it's a whole different chemistry. And people don't know, but Bino is really like an A&R. He got a cold ear.
Really?
Yeah, like he was telling me certain sounds he wanted, how like certain subject matters he wanted to talk about. And I think just being more hands-on with 6 tape part 2 was the more pivotal side of things.
How important do you think it is because in modern times, right, you know, I feel like a lot of artists feel this pressure to create fast, create quickly, drop frequently. How important do you feel it is to maybe get time in person and really vibe out with another artist?
I think it's real important. You know, I'm one of those artists that I gotta live life too, especially if I'm if I'm trying to make a difference, impact the world, impact music as a whole. So I gotta live life too. So I try to keep that space in between. I try to really connect with whatever artist I'm working with. Just be intentional instead of just doing it for the clout or just doing it because I gotta stay in people's face, you know? Yeah.
It's a little different, you know, and I appreciate the approach. I think for you, you probably feel like, I don't need to like be always in the mix maybe to feel like I'm out there.
Nah, for sure. I think being a producer also gives me the upper hand, you know, because I get to create what's the new wave or what's the new trend. I get to have my hands on that.
Speaking of trend, like you popping on TikTok. What's the deal? What's going on there? You got some strategy you need to tell us about? Like what's happening?
I don't know what it is. I will say, shout out to TikTok because Chosen went viral.
Yes.
That changed my life in one aspect as well. But I don't know what it is. I'm not even that heavy on TikTok, like me personally, but I love it.
You love it.
I love it.
But that's the power, I think, of creating something of meaning is like even beyond the way that you intend for it to travel or be out there, it takes on its own shape. People adopt it, they love it, and they do what they want with it.
Yeah.
And speaking of folks adopting, the Filipino audience on TikTok really rocks with you.
Shout out to all my Filipinos, man. I don't know what it is, but they definitely, I feel like the president of the Philippines right now.
He's definitely like the president. Now, talk to me about some of the recent music. So you were recently on Raised Different, DJ Drama's most recent album.
Yeah.
And you're on a record with a legend. You're on a record with Nipsey. Knowing, you know, how precious, you know, verses and songs from Nip are in general, how does that feel to you to be on that project?
Man, it's definitely an honor, you know. And I got to meet Nipsey one time. It was at the Racks in the Middle video shoot with Roddy Ricch, the song he won a Grammy for, actually. And he just embraced me with love from the jump. I told him I work with Bino. You know, Bino is like his little brother, you feel me? So he just embraced me with love. So to be a part of his legacy in any form or fashion, it's like, you gotta uphold that integrity. You gotta stand for something. And I think he'll be proud of what I did on that record for sure.
Yeah, I think so for sure, fam.
Yeah.
What are you, when you think about Nip's legacy and what how he's impacted the world, what does that mean to you?
It's everything for me, especially, you know, being from LA, seeing him drive by or, you know, just little things like that. Like we don't really get to see celebrities in South Central like that. And he was really in the community. So that it just made it real for us. It made us feel like it was possible, you know. And just seeing how he stood on independence and things like buying back the block and community, things like that, is just, we can't help but continue that legacy.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing about Nips that I appreciated the most, was that, like, how he encouraged us to really take pride in ourselves, take pride in our neighborhoods, and take pride in that ownership. Like, it's just different. Do you feel like, what do you feel like the energy was when y'all met? Like, how did it impact your energy?
It was love. I mean, I've definitely been listening to Nip since high school, you feel me? So even, I remember my first year going to college, and I only went for one semester.
It wasn't for you?
Nah, it wasn't for me. But he gave me that motivation to want to even try to do something different like that. You know, it's like, he come from a certain background, but the things he preaches is like, become the greatest version of yourself. You know? And it's a marathon, you feel me? So I try to embrace the journey, and that's what I look at Nip as.
Yeah, it's a marathon. And, you know, I think more of us got to understand when we're going through our careers and trying to become who we want to become, it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't, you know, you can get a major hit. That don't mean tomorrow, you know, everything changes. You got to just stay with it. Yeah. You've also, you know, received cosigns from other legends like E40.
Man, shout out E40. That's
what did the E40 cosign mean?
Man, that's, you know, that's a letter. We've been listening to him since we was kids. I remember I got popped for singing one of his songs when I was younger.
What song was it?
What song? I think it was like, nah, I don't want to be explicit.
Yeah,
They'll keep it PG-13, but I definitely got popped for singing E40 lyrics. So to have a connection with him now is dope. You know, I be calling him for random advice, like, big homie, what you think it is? Big homie, send me some wine. You know what I'm saying? He got a wine company.
He got a wine company.
Yeah, he got a wine company. And it's just dope to see his journey as well, like being a hip hop artist and, you know, venturing off into his businesses that he do.
Yeah.
I just be picking his brain anytime I get a chance.
Yeah, you know what I love about E40 is he's always relevant. You know what I mean? Like he's always in a pocket of our culture. Yeah. And I think it's really dope that you still reach out to him about like, yo, what do you think about this? What should I be doing? It's like, it's crazy to think like, you know, we got OGs that we should be able to hit up about like advice.
Yeah, I think that's one gem that, you know, the young OGs miss out. Like you gotta get that piece of guidance because people like E40 been through it all. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to have somebody like that in your corner where you can get advice and have that foresight on what's to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are some of those other advisors that you have that have been really instrumental so far in your journey?
I would definitely say I got some contacts in my phone. I don't abuse them. You know what I'm saying? But whenever I really feel like my spirit is telling me to ask a question, if I need guidance, I definitely reach out to like a Snoop Dogg or E40, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, you need them because they, like you said, they done been through it.
For sure.
Now, I got to tell you, one of the collaborations you've done that I listen to probably every other day is Die Hard with Kendrick.
Come on.
Right? Like, it goes, man. What was it like working with Kendrick?
Man, I think that was the reinsurance that I needed for sure. Like, I'm a big TDE fan, big Kendrick fan. Schoolboy Q, Absol, the whole camp, you know what I'm saying? So that was like actually a part of the reason why I even started wanting to get into music as well.
Word.
You know, so when that moment even came about, it was unreal. Like, it didn't even feel real. Like,
what do you mean?
Because they had reached out, his manager, which I later found out, he had reached out. It was a random number. It was like, yo.
You was like, is this real?
Yeah, it was like, yo, I managed Nas and I managed Kendrick, and Kendrick trying to get in touch with you. I'm thinking it's a prank. I'm like, okay. First of all, how did you even get my number?
Yeah.
So I hit my attorney, I'm like, cause he know a lot about the music industry names and stuff
See,
like that.
that's a nugget that many people don't think about. The attorneys know everybody.
Yeah, they see the back end of all the music business. So I'm like, hey, have you ever heard of this name? He like, nah, yeah, that's official. You need to tap back in with them. So I hit him back, and then I'm like, for sure, connect us. He was like, all right, he about to FaceTime you in 5 minutes. I'm like, okay. I'm like,
that might be the longest 5 minutes.
I'm over here staring at my phone. So he had FaceTime me, and he was like, what the deal? I'm like, yeah, this for sure Kendrick. But it was FaceTime audio. We wasn't,
it
so
wasn't face. Yeah.
So I heard his voice. He was like, what the deal? I'm like, what's good? He like, man, I respect what you got going. I'm working on this project. I want you to be a part of it. I'm like, wow. And mind you, this around the time he ain't dropped a project in 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been
so I'm
quiet.
like, okay, we're gonna work on it, but it's never gonna come out anyway. But I'm grateful that he even tapped in. We did the song, and then I would say like 2 months later, he announced he was dropping an album. It really came out.
And it really came out.
Yeah.
At what point did you find out that song was on the album? And was it just one song y'all worked on? Was it a couple that y'all worked on?
It was just that one song. And he loved the first idea I sent him too. The first thing I sent him.
That's rare.
And what gave me more respect for Kendrick was how hands-on he was. He was telling me like, yo, sing this part like this. Like, sing it. I got voice memos of him singing in my phone right now.
That's
it's nuts. But I didn't know it was gonna drop until the night it actually came out. Yeah.
Wow.
I was in Miami at the hotel waiting for 11:59 p.m. As soon as it hit, I'm like, wait on that.
So when your fans and your friends in your community find out you're on this project, what happens?
My sister's the biggest Kendrick fan ever. So that was like a low-key flex in the family, you feel me? Like, yeah, I got a son with K-Dot.
What's y'all's relationship now? You know, working on a project like that together and being able to see how it's impacted so many people. What's that like now?
Man, that's like I said before, that's one of the relationships I don't abuse. You know, I know he like to be off the radar, laying low, and I respect that. I give him his space, but I know he's open whenever I got a question for him or anything. Yeah. I definitely value that relationship.
Now early on, you had mentioned skateboarding.
Yeah.
Like, are you a serious skateboarder?
Yeah, I was out there.
Word?
I was really outside. I was really breaking ankles and stuff like that.
Oh, you was really out there?
Yeah.
How did you get into skateboarding?
I think Pharrell, just like the influence from Pharrell.
Skateboard P.
Yeah, and my cousins, they was from Long Beach. So every time I go visit them, they was always into skateboarding. Those was like the first black people I seen skateboarding. Yeah. And it was this artist / skater from Long Beach. His name was Terry Kennedy.
Yes.
And Pharrell had signed him to Ice Cream around that time. So that was the biggest thing. Like we was all trying to, be like Terry Kennedy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I just love how they blended music culture and skateboard culture, and I wanted to be a part of that.
How do you think that impacts you today? How do you keep a part of that culture and that vibe, really, as a part of yourself as a creative, as an artist?
That's a good question. I think the main thing that I took from skating that I applied to music is just being fearless. You gotta be fearless when you skate, when you're jumping off of 10 stairs, you know what I'm saying? So I apply that same thing in taking risks with music.
Yeah, you gotta. I love that because you're right with skating, man. And also, I've tried. I don't have the balance. I've tried, but it's a risk. You out there, skates, that board just slide up under you, but you make a decision to get back on it. That is a part of being an artist, part of being a creative is not everything's gonna work out, but you gotta keep trying. You can't win everything.
That's a fact. And skating, like the biggest thing is learning how to fall, like learning how to fail so you can get back up and try it again. Yeah. So that's kind of like a life lesson.
Fact.
Beyond music.
Yeah, you gotta keep getting up.
Yeah.
So I wanna ask you about something. On Overrated, you said, just give me loyalty because love is overrated. And like you said, there's no need to explain it, but can you tell us what makes it overrated?
I mean, everybody got their different perspective, but what I was speaking on that song, in my perspective, I think love is more so like an emotion. So that's why I said I want loyalty, because that's more like an action. You know, so I would if I had to settle for an emotion versus an action, I would rather you show me, you feel me, that you're loyal than just to say you love me.
Because you feel like the love part isn't enough?
Yeah, I mean, but don't get me wrong, loyalty could be a stem from the emotion of having love.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I'm still learning. I'm not a professor.
No, you know. We all trying to figure it out.
Yeah, that was just my perspective on it.
Yeah. Take us into to the record Chosen, right? Smash it. But there was an interesting way you went about creating this record. Can you take us into the behind the scenes of that?
Man, so it was, I put out No Love Lost, which was like an EP. It was only 8 songs.
Okay.
And
I mean, only 8. That's still a chunk.
Yeah. It was 8 songs, but it definitely hit the city hard enough for, you know, to be on Tyga's radar. And Ty Dolla $ign is somebody I've been knowing. That was like a big brother, like just coming up in the industry, just writing for people and producing. But when I dropped No Love Lost, Tyga had reached out like, yo, this project fire. Instantly, I replied like, yo, I got a song for you.
You was ready.
I was ready. And I just had a momentum I just felt undefeated at that moment. Like this was the first time I was getting embraced by my city, feeling that love. And I felt like, I felt fearless. Like I can ask for anything and receive it. And the universe showed me that, you feel me? Tyga, he replied, he was like, send it to me. I was like, cool. Once I got that feature, I'm like, let me see a Ty hop on it. I'm just shooting for the moon at this point. And then he really jumped on it. So, and this is a record I made in my apartment, you know, just.
On the, you made it on the Focusrite, yeah?
Yeah, on the Focusrite. You know, I had a food tray, my laptop right there, and I'm just in the living room on my couch, just feeling the vibes. And just, you know, like when you make music, your mind go into a whole different place. So I just envision a good time, a party, a house party, you know what I'm saying, beautiful women. And, you know, who can I bring, who are like the elites that I can bring to that party? You feel me? And I was Tyga and Ty Dolla $ign, and they made the vision come to light. How do
you get into that zone? Like, you know, way do you just describe the world that you like to create in?
Yeah.
What's your way of getting to that world? You know what I mean? When you're like sitting to produce.
I think my biggest key is like letting go. A lot of times I feel like I'm not even in control of the music that I'm making. Like when I feel like I'm over trying it, is when I'm not feeling it. And I feel like the audience, sometimes we underestimate them knowing if you're trying too hard or something like that, you know, but the audience is just as smart as the artist is half the time. So I just try to do what's natural to me and just let it flow through me. I'm just a channel. I'm just the messenger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a friend that always tells me, he's like, you know, the audience is smart. Don't ever underestimate
You feel
them.
me?
You know,
That's a fact.
they know when you're faking the funk.
Exactly.
They know. Talk to me a little bit about Evgle. Where'd that come from?
Man, Evgle, that's the label, that's the family. Evgle came about really I just felt like it's better when a company represents you versus you representing yourself.
Speak on that.
So it was just an idea at first, but once I linked up with my manager, Vic, and my attorney, Carl, we made it a real thing. And, you know, now we signing artists, we signing producers. We have a publishing side of Evgle. We have a venture side of Evgle where we're investing into, you know, up and coming companies and things like that. And it's just dope to see it blossom. I think it's important for people to invest early, you know. I wasn't trying to wait until I got a certain amount of money or a certain age to invest my money. I want to use my likeness while I'm hot and really impact my culture while the kids looking up to me, seeing me doing dope things like, oh, he invested into this, he invested into that. let me aspire to do things like that too.
Yeah.
So
Now switching back over to the artist side of things, not Blxst the businessman right now, but
yeah,
Blxst the artist. When you think about your sound, do you feel like you've carved out like a style and a sound for yourself?
I definitely, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I feel like I carved out a sound, especially for LA,
Hmm.
but even just seeing how far I took it, like to be able to tour in Europe, it definitely speaks value because I feel like my sound is true to where I'm from, and to be able to, cross those barriers, it means a lot to me.
I think one of the videos we saw when you were on tour, like you had put the mic out
Yeah.
into the audience. What did it feel like to not have to sing because everyone else knew the words?
It's unreal, man. I don't take these things for granted. Like I really love the people who support me. It just like it's like a refuel whenever I see people singing my songs word for word. It's like, man, let me get back in the studio. I gotta feel that moment again. It's really a drug to like performing is really a drug. So I gotta keep in mind not to get too high on the highs and not too low on the lows. Because every night is not crazy
Not the
lit.
same.
You feel
Yeah,
me?
it's different energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you think back to, some of the first projects you were creating to now, do you have a preference of like where you like to create? Like, do you like to create in the studio? Do you like to create at home? Like,
Yeah.
what's your preference?
I think what I'm used to is creating at home. So automatically I would say creating like in solitude, being by myself is where I feel like I'm the most vulnerable and I get my best ideas out. But I'm in the process of just challenging myself, working with different writers, putting myself in the studio with other producers, even people with just good conversation. Like I'm trying different things to spark my motivation. Being around people who you may be just an artist, like you may paint pictures. Like I just like being around creatives in general. Creatives is what make the world go around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now most of your projects are classified hip hop and R&B, but you sing a lot.
Yeah.
How do you classify yourself? Do you even classify yourself in a genre or box or whatever?
No, I don't classify myself in no box, but I definitely get it. When people call me whatever they call me, or whether it's a singer or a rapper or melodic rap or whatever you may call it. And I embrace it. I'm a big fan of hip hop. I'm a big fan of R&B. I grew up with sisters. They was fans of B2K. And,
Yep.
Omarion, Chris Brown, all that stuff. So I love it. I just love being even considered anything.
He's like, I'm in the conversation. So
yeah, I'm in the conversation. That's all that matters.
Take us into you deciding to sign with your record label, right? You end up signing with Red Bull, which I think is really dope because it connects back to your roots in skateboarding.
Yeah.
What led you to be like, yo, this is the right place, this is the right home for Blxst?
Man, Red Bull was dope for me simply because it was like an opportunity for me to really learn the business as I was, scaling up. It's like taking the stairs versus taking the elevator. I got to really understand independence, got to really understand how to own my intellectual property.
Yeah.
And they provided a overhead for me to build my own company as well, which is Evgle. So we got employees at Evgle. We got our own office at Red Bull. Like I'm really a young entrepreneur, and shout out to Red Bull for providing that platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there other artists that you're able to connect with too that are over on Red Bull?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we bringing in artists at Red Bull.
And you bringing in artists.
Yeah, they got a dope label. It's a lot of artists on there. I'm not finna go into all the names, but
no stress.
shout out Red Bull Records for sure.
As you talk about bringing on artists to your label, to Evgle, what do you look for? When you're looking for young upcoming talent, what are you looking for? What are you trying to hear?
I look for risk taking. I look for originality, being multi-talented. Maybe a lot of traits that I see in myself as well, like being able to produce, maybe play an instrument or being able to engineer yourself.
Yeah.
I think being an eagle is learning how to fly at the highest altitude. But eagles don't fly in flocks though. You know, so my vision of an eagle or my company as Eagle is like flying together. Imagine a flock of eagles. How powerful that is,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just how I look at it. That's what artists I attract. Self-sufficiency.
Self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
Resourcefulness. Yeah. Tell me, when you think of Eagle and where you want to go with it, we've seen a legacy of really great, you know, hip hop labels, whether it's Def Jam or Aftermath, you know, TDE. There's a lot of great labels. You know, where do you want to go?
Man, I like what QC is doing. Like building a platform and being able to sell it. And I know people like, why are you selling your stuff? Like, but you gotta understand, like, I feel like I can do it again. I can build another company and sell that company as well. Like I'm a creator. I'm ahead of the curve. Being a visionary is everything. So what I see for Eagle is creating it could be something where I can pass down to my family as well, something that they can eat off as well. Being able to own intellectual property and do whatever they want to. If they want to sell it, however they want to sell it, I think that's the most pivotal thing for me.
Yeah. And it's more of a lesson for us too. Like, you know, it is business, right? Like you do have opportunities where it makes sense to sell something. It makes sense to create, you know, additional wealth for your family, right? You own something. You do whatever you want with it.
For sure. Sure.
Now you did a recent interview with a different podcaster, and on Reddit you got a little flack for just being you, being who you are, reserved but really dope person.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, or how do you even deal with the comments and the responses to just you being yourself?
Man, I'll say you got to spoon feed reading the comments. I'm one person who actually care. You know, sometimes I care too much.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't, but ultimately I use it as fuel too. You can channel that energy into loving yourself or being fearful. You know, and I just channel it into love and making me greater.
Yeah.
You know? So I love it.
Yeah.
Give me the hate and the love. I'm gonna use it as fuel.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself an introvert?
Yeah, I'm definitely an introvert. I'm like 80-20, 80 introvert, 20 extrovert. Like if you really know me on a personal level, I'm real goofy, I'm real vocal, but I'm to myself a lot for the most part.
In your own head?
Yeah, my own head. Yeah.
Where does the, you know, that other part of you come out, the alter ego, if you will? Is that where you channel that into your music and that's where it starts to?
I may be dancing in the studio like Michael Jackson or anything just to feel that energy. It's just like, it's like one space where nobody can judge you. Or, you feel me?
Yeah, it's like it's your own.
Yeah, you can be the most vulnerable and just like creating something that's like therapeutic for me. I love it.
Because that's where you feel like it's your truest self. It's when you're able to express yourself. And I think it comes from a place of comfort, right? Like there is parts of like putting yourself out there, being stretched, being uncomfortable, but then you need to come back some way to channel it so you can share kind of what you went through. It's kind of hard to express when you're uncomfortable.
Man, you spitting right now.
Did you think when you were creating in your apartment and you were trying to reach out to some of these different artists that you'd be where you are today?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think like even getting certain calls from my agency, like, yo, we about to start this Europe tour. It's like, wait, hold on. Like, wait, slow down. Like, I don't know. And I have a fear of flying. So even things like that, it's like, all right, let me just embrace it and just let go. Let me just, whatever happens, happen. But I gotta go on this journey and see how far I could take it. It's dope. It's like I'm waking up in a dream every day.
Do you ever feel the pressure to become big, a superstar, you know, these mega artists? Do you feel that pressure, like, that's where I got to take this?
Not really. I don't even thrive to be a superstar. Like, I'm comfortable with playing the background. I'm comfortable with being a producer, being a writer. You know, I definitely embrace whatever is for me in the same sense. But it's really no pressure. Sometimes I may get in my head because I am a perfectionist. I want to be better than the last version of myself.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only pressure I ever felt.
Yeah. What do you think about the comparisons, right? Because you've been getting some comparisons to some of the really dope artists of our time.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I embrace it, you know, as long as they're a legend, you know.
He said.
Because I want to be a legend too. I embrace it, but I'm definitely making my own blueprint. Definitely want to carve out a name for myself. And I think I'm moving in that light so far. Hopefully, I continue to do that.
Yeah. What's coming on the music front?
So I'm cooking. I'm working on a couple projects. We dropped 6 Part 1.
Yeah.
We dropped Part 2. It's only ready for 3P, man.
Word. Okay.
Yeah, so me and Bino back in the studio heavy. We like Shaq and Kobe right now. We're trying to get this third ring.
Trying to get this third one.
You know, but other than that, I'm working on my album as well. Slowly but surely, I want to take my time with it. I want my fans to really appreciate the elevated version of Blxst, you know, so.
Is there any music or genres that you're kind of really vibing with right now that we might see some influence?
We're going to have to see.
We're going to have to see.
I'm definitely throwing y'all left field, throwing y'all for a loop with this one, so hopefully they embrace it.
Yeah. A year from now, where do you hope to see yourself?
You got me thinking. A year from now, honestly, I just hope to continue to do what I'm doing. I hope to continue to inspire people. I hope to continue to give people opportunities to win. I hope to see Evgle as a company to where when you look under the hood, it's honest business.
Yeah.
We not, you know, hitting artists over the head with messed up contracts and things like that. And I'm just embracing the journey overall. So that's what I look forward to.
That's what you're looking forward to.
Yeah.
And you got a youngin' too, yeah?
Yeah.
What's it like, you know, being a dad, being a father?
It's eye-opening. I think he really changed my mind on from just being an artist to actually wanting to embrace the business side of things as well. Because I came from a situation where I didn't have complete ownership of my music. So once I had my son, it created a picture that was bigger than just me. You know, now I feel like I have a purpose, and now I feel like I owe, you know, knowledge and things like that, experience to my son.
Have you noticed if he's musical, gravitating towards music?
He got vocals for sure.
Really?
I try to let him do his thing because I don't want to, you know, press him, but he definitely can sing. I wish I could play a video for that right now.
Yeah, you gonna have to share that, fam. But that's dope. It's really cool to see you in that way, and you know, be inspired by your own son.
Man, thank you.
You know,
thank you.
If it's all right with you, we're gonna take some questions from the audience.
Uh-oh.
All right, show of hands if y'all got a question for Blxst. Okay, so have you introduce yourself and ask your question.
Hey, what's up, Blxst? My name is Shane, and I was wondering, what advice would you give someone pursuing their dreams in the entertainment industry?
That's a great question. My biggest gem that I come to realization is learning how to fail quickly. You know, the more fails you take on quickly, the quicker you learn. And that's what you apply, you feel me? Just learning how to fail, being comfortable to be embarrassed with yourself, being comfortable with looking stupid, because on the other side of that is greatness.
I love that.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate your question. If you pass the mic behind you to our friend in the jean jacket.
How you doing, Blxst? My name's
doing,
Juan, bro. My question for you, bro, is you've been here for a minute and you've done a lot in like a fast time. I feel like you've worked with a lot of like pop names. So like at this point, do you have anybody that like you kind of got on your list like, yo, I gotta get that feature, or I gotta work on them, or they gotta work with me to feel like you hit like a new plateau? Because I feel like you already did a good number of names within a generation time period.
Man, that's love, bro. Thank you for even acknowledging that. I would say one of my biggest dreams is to work with Pharrell.
Oh,
you
that's a
know,
big
because
one.
that's
Okay.
definitely a piece of why I even started making music, as I mentioned before. And then people like Kanye West, you know, people
I had a
that's just
feeling. I had a feeling.
breaking that barrier. That's just
What about a whole feature?
yeah. I definitely want a whole feature. Can't never turn that down, right?
Facts.
Definitely.
Thank you for your question. Okay, we're gonna go over here. Right.
Hi, Blxst. I'm Morgan, and my question is, if you can go back down your catalog, what's a record that you would change or add something to?
I love that question.
Because you know you want to tweak something.
You know what's crazy though? Like every song that I put out, I feel like it's incomplete. I think a true artist, like when you creating something, it's always something that you look at and see a flaw in. You know, so that would be all my songs, honestly. Maybe a line, maybe a way I hit a certain note, maybe a chord progression or a beat, maybe a beat drop. I'm just so tedious on everything and such a perfectionist that everything is incomplete in my eyes.
Thank you for your question. Next, we're gonna go over here to my friend in the purple, right here on the front.
Awesome. Thank you. So good to meet you and be here with you. I'm Sabrina. My question for you is, which song took you the fastest to write and produce, and maybe which song took you the longest, if you can think of song specifically? Or...
I think the fastest song is a song I got called Be Alone, and I sampled Aaliyah. So it was kind of like already set in stone for me to do my thing on it. I just gave my perspective on it. Like she was speaking on I don't want to be alone, and I was speaking on a male perspective on like you don't want to be alone. So that would be the quickest record. The longest one, it's a song I made early on, and it's a song where I fell out with my friends before I went and had my solo career. It's a song I got called Hurt. And it was just a real vulnerable moment for me to really express how I feel. Usually my songs be on the surface and just speaking on a broad scale of things so everybody can relate. But this one was just more into details, saying people's personal, you know, actions and things. So that took a minute, not only to write it, but to put it out as well.
I imagine that's a lot to deal with.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Love
for your
both of those songs. So.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We're gonna go to the back. My man with the foams and the black blazer.
Yeah, keep it classic on them.
You feel me? Peace, Blxst. I'm Clinton. And my question would be from a fellow musician, like, how do you have the mental fortitude and the perseverance to keep going when nobody believes what you're doing but you?
For me, it's no plan B. I gotta be a provider for my family. I gotta be a provider for my son. I gotta step up to the plate, and I don't see no other way. You know, I'm just so focused, so much tunnel vision I hold. Maybe it's the experiences I went through in my personal life, but I don't see it no other way. So I would say just use your personal trauma as fuel. Use your personal experiences as fuel and keep going.
Facts.
Thank y'all so much for y'all's questions. Y'all make some noise for Blxst. Appreciate you. Purple gang.
I love your style. You're real drippy, real drippy.